Good morning, tribe. I just want to start out with gratitude for those who listen to my channel and for my future audience. I recorded something yesterday, and curiously, even though the actual recording showed that there was over 5 minutes worth of recording, there was no sound. So it forcing me to actually think about it and realizing that actually I had new angles this morning on the same subject. So I'm going to, I guess, start over and deliver it with a little bit more information that I'm getting. And now this is about the divine masculine energy. And this is not about gender. So I know plenty of women that move a very strong masculine energy and is actually moving more masculine than they do feminine energy. And it's really up to us to, all of us have to balance that. We need to have a beautiful balance between both the feminine and the masculine within us. It's a way of actually being able to live life in harmony when we have both of them equally accessible, and that we know how to go into the feminine when it's necessary, and to sit back and to be in stillness and to receive. And there are times when it's really important to be forward and more active. So the message about the divine masculine, hold on one second. So the message for the divine masculine, it seems that there is an inner battle I'm seeing of them trying to release themselves from certain programs. These are programs that have been instilled in us since a very young age. And it comes from our parents, our society, our tribe. It comes from, centuries and centuries of our ancestry living in the fear of lack and the need to always be on. So what I've noticed is this fear of lack is pushing everyone, or is so prevalent in these beautiful beings, that they're making choices based on that. So let me give you an example. I have seen some, specifically, I'm going to talk about gender because even though it's not gender-based, but I've seen some amazing men that have everything going for them. They have abundance. They're sitting in an incredible place in their life, and yet for some reason, even though they have abundance, and they still live in the fear of lack, so that they keep pushing themselves and making decisions to do all these different projects based on the need to be doing something, but not because it's their passion or love. And when I'm saying this, I'm also thinking of women that I know that are extremely, extremely successful, and the exact same thing. So it's not just about the men; the women also are going through these. It's very interesting because they've come to me and very specifically said, "I wish I could let go of that. I want to be able to say, I've arrived, and I want to enjoy my life." There's like this sense of knowing that life is so much more than always having to run after the brass ring, or always having to accumulate more wealth, that there has to be a part of them that could just rest in where they are and look for joy, look for harmony, look for connections with people, and wanting to be able to be free of that. And the other example would be when there's been so much happening between the divine masculine, divine feminine, between the partnerships, relationships, between people. So, people have been married, and I don't want to say it's just about men and women being married. It could be any kind of marriage, but assuming let's just talk for instance, a man and a woman get married and things don't go well and then they divorce. There's been so much, men have been beaten up so badly in some of these divorces. And I'm not taking sides here. I'm not saying, that women haven't suffered. It's just not the point. The point is that the way the laws have played out in terms of divorce and how the courts have decided, that men are really terrified of being in relationships. And again, this has to do with abundance, and it has to do with how they feel about, where they are, their security. And so when they're out there trying to have a relationship with other women, they're deciding based on that, right? Again, they're making decisions based on fear and based on lack. So all I can tell you is from my own experience in life, having done it myself, when you're on a crossroads, how do you know you're on a crossroads? You're in a crossroads because you know that you have a certain degree of freedom. You've gotten to a point where you've been released from all your choices in the past, and you've come to a new position in your life where you can start to make choices. So for many of us, it's maybe being on the other side of loss, of losing a loved one and not grieving that person anymore. It could be a divorce. It could be finally graduating from school and standing in front of life and trying to make a decision in which direction to go. When you're standing in a crossroads, you cannot make a decision based on fear. Make a decision based on purely the logical. You need to use your common sense. You need to be able to have discernment. But at the end of the day, you need to choose from your heart as well. It has to be part of the decision. Because at the end of the day, love will always win. Love will always win. When you choose a career because you love what you're doing, you can never lose. When you choose an intimate partner because you are just super crazy about them, you've been discerning, you see that the person has incredible value and that they're a good person, a good heart, and it's okay to do that. I mean, I've seen situations where even if it's there, even if the love is there, even if the attraction is there, even if all the ingredients are there, the fear is so strong that people are not making the right choices. They're walking away from something that's good because their fear is so great. Their idea of lack, their concept, and fear of losing, even the fear of disappointing, right? Like we can't do anything from that place. We have to choose from love, from abundance, from joy, and I'm telling you, you can never lose. You can never lose. And today is an interesting day that I'm recording this, because today is marks the 3rd year that my late husband passed. And I have to tell you that I learned so much from him, so much from him. He was a free spirit. He wasn't afraid of anything. He wasn't afraid of intimacy. He wasn't he wasn't afraid of failing. He never did anything cautiously. He dove into everything, and he never was afraid of being himself. He was outrageously, ridiculously himself. And for me, the main attraction, what attracted me to him, was that he was willing to put himself out to the point of, he didn't. If he had to get on his knees, he would have. He didn't leave anything unsaid, and had no fear. And there is something to learn from that. I mean, there were other stuff about him that I think after we were together for about 6 years from beginning to end, where the parts of him that needed to soften, the parts of him that finally got to a point where he says, yes, I am worthy of love. I'm worthy of the love of this woman. And he started to relax and to come into a beautiful state of harmony with me. After 6 years, towards the end, he finally was able to feel worthy of my love. And up until now, up until that point, it was I would used to look at it and say, I don't know, I didn't understand what was happening, but slowly I started to understand that sometimes people fight with you because they don't feel worthy. I never understood that. But the biggest lesson that he taught anyone who knew him was that we need to be fiercely who we are. We need to love who we are, and be okay that there's going to be people. He totally was okay that people couldn't stand him. He was like, it's okay. Not everyone's going to. But most people, even if at first they found him to be shocking and to, you wanted to sort of run as far away as you could from him because that was the kind of personality that you met. Eventually, most of my friends came to really appreciate him and really love him. And so he speaks for the divine masculine in this way. He was very balanced between his female and his male energy. And he was had the biggest heart I know. The biggest heart. And so for those of you who move a very strong masculine energy and are desiring to let go of some of these things that keep you trapped in dissatisfaction, lack of joy, no harmony, not having this sense of getting up in the morning and being excited about your day, excited about the person who's next to you, excited about the people you're going to be meeting over the course of the day. Give yourself permission, really, to be vulnerable and to welcome goodness and love into your life. Okay, that's my message. Love you all.